Hello and welcome back to Wacky Kitchen, where we still haven't managed to get a proper setup yet. Right, so the first thing you'll do is preheat your pan, and today we're going to be doing the thing that pretty much everyone in the Midlands eats, which is curry, except it's not going to quite be a traditional curry, it's going to be more of a mix between a stir fry and a curry. Right, I've got most of my stuff ready at the side, so what I'm going to start with is, because they don't sell mincemeat anymore, normally I'd serve the meat on the side if you're doing a proper meat portion, but if you're going to make something like meatballs or chicken bits, you can put them in. I'm going to do something a little different with meatballs this time, so obviously I've done a bit of oil in the pan. I'm going to make some meatballs out of the burger, which I got reduced to clear. Essentially they were, what, 70p a pack, so that was £1 a kilo, so not bad. I'm going to make very, very small balls, just so they toast up and crisp nicely, and then you'll see where I go from there. After that we're going to put the peppers into the pan to fry off. Now I have got frozen peppers. Now these will be better for cooking, they're cheaper, and because they'll defrost, they'll be quicker to toast up and crisp up, so that'll be the way you want to cook them. So that is ideal and a good tip for if you don't want to get fresh peppers, which are more expensive. And it's one of the things I consider the holy trinity of the stir-fried curry sort of mixture. And the other ones are water chestnuts, which they do come whole, and I've cut them into slices and used about half a pack per the thing that I'm showing you. It'll make several portions, and then you can freeze the other half and use in another session another day. So let's get on with making the balls before we run out of heat. So these will crisp up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some spice powder on them, maybe a bit of mustard as well in there, maybe a bit of peanut butter, I'll see. Okay, so I did add the world's tiniest scoop of mustard. It's like next to nothing, but it has made a nice yellowy appearance on the pan, and I'm going to add a little bit on a fork of peanut butter to the mixture, so give it a sort of a nutty texture on top. This should melt down into the mustard and be nice to give it a good coating, and then we're going to sprinkle it with the spicy powder that I have, which is something that came with some sauce from B&M. So it was korma based powder, so it should fit the korma curry nicely, but with a crispier, spicier coating for the actual meatballs, which is what we want. Now, if you want, you could also then add the curry flax powder for a good coating. I think I'm actually going to do that last minute improvisation. Again, you can find it cheaper than the biogram curry and flaxseed, but again, this should add a nice crispy coating to the various meatballs and suck up some of those sauces and peanut butter bits that I've just added to the mixture. So obviously if you've got a non-flat pan, you could be chefy about it and flick it in the end, but that's never going to work in a pan like this. Well, not without chucking it everywhere. So I'm not even going to try. Okay, so once your meatballs are done, you want to deglaze your pan with a bit of water, just a little bit of hot water, swirl it round, store it, and you've got a perfect peanut satay, pre-made, conveniently. It might be a bit meaty, so you know, the best before date might not be ideal, and you might want to use it quickly, but good to add to noodles or rice, or you know, any dish that you want a peanut satay with. It's perfect. It'll be spicy, slightly mustardy, peanutty, nice. You can add other things to that, you know, and improvise and make the proper peanut satay. I'm not sure what exact ingredients you do need, but again, once your peppers are cooked down to your satisfaction, you know, maybe you want them really well done, maybe you don't, turn your heating down, because the next step you don't want it as blazing hot as full temperature, because I've got it on 6 now. And then add your onions. The last of the holy trinity is onions. If you want brown/blackened onions, put them in your peppers and roast them up with a bit of oil. Then, you know, you'll get blackened effect and the blackened taste in your stir fry. But I prefer my onions a bit sharper and a bit nicer. So this is how your meatballs will look after they are done. And you use the most sacred of students' weapons for cooking, the the microwave to heat these up once it's done, to keep the flavours separate. I mean, you don't want them getting just chucked back into the pan once you've gone to all that effort to make them zingy and different and nice. So they will stand out on your pan, and that's why I serve all of my meats separate as well, because I want them to taste different to the actual stir fry and to stand out and to keep the meatiness. I mean, you lose the meat flavour once you put it inside the dish, so why would you do anything differently? So I'll just cut up one of our onions here. I mean, you know clearly how to cut an onion. There's still some shit on it, so I'm just going to adapt that bit up, because you want it nice. And I hope that you can hear me over the thing playing. Now, you want to keep an eye on what you're doing. You don't want to burn your pan, you don't want to cut your fingers whilst you're not looking, because you're not paying attention to what you are doing. Are you talking to the camera? Or yourself? I mean, no harm in talking to yourself. If that's your thing. I'm just going to put some slices down the middle, because this will help make into the cubes. And then you go across like that. And that's always the problem. The onion flies out. Every single time. And I don't know if it's just my chopping board or the way I do things, but it becomes a bit of a hassle once you get to that stage, and then you've got to improvise. And you can't do it just everywhere, because it wants to show you up. It's like, no, I'm an onion, I want to run away. I'm not making you cry, so I will run away. And no, that's not why I ate a bit of onion. I ate a bit of onion just because it was in my hands. So at the same point, in order to not brown your onions, you want to chuck in your stir-fry paste or stir-fry sauce or whatever you happen to have at the time. Mine is a paste, which seems to be the way things are going these days. It's like concentrated paste, full of flavour, full of the sauce. And like I said, this is going to be ideal, but you will need to cut it down because it'll be stronger flavours. So I'm going to cut it down with that. What you want to do is cook that into it first, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so once your sauce has cooked down, and it'll be more liquidy and a little bit absorbed by the peppers and the things that you got in there, it's time to think about personalising your particular curry, because everyone is different, but there's a few essentials that I like to add in it personally. Now, the first thing you are going to want to do, actually no, we'll do that. I'm in a quandary as to the order I want to do these. I'm going to chuck a couple of jalapenos in. Make sure you've got nice clean hands if you're just going to go in hands first like I'm doing. Again, if you want it a bit extra spicy, a couple of spicy bites. Red jalapenos, green jalapenos, it's up to you. Green will be stronger, but red will add colour if you don't necessarily have a ready colour. And, you know, if you're having tomatoes in there, then maybe go for green ones for a bit of variation. Next thing I'm going to add is pre-made stir-fry mix sort of thing. It's a vegetable slaw rather than a stir-fry mix. Now, it's up to you whether you add the whole pack or half pack. This is a fairly small pack, so I'm just going to add about 3/4 of it, because I don't want to overfill my pan. And it adds a quick and easy, convenient way of adding more vegetables in, because I got it for 21p reduced to clear. It's a very cheap way of getting pre-cooked, pre-prepared food, perfect for this sort of dish. I mean, I've had to do absolutely no topping, and I've added white cabbage, broccoli stalks, carrots to my dish. We'll mix that in. Obviously I'm using my fork at the moment rather than my thing, which is a bit stupid, but I used it to get the paste in better. Now I apologise if I'm salivating while I'm talking, but I mean it's a heavily spicy dish, so it will get your taste buds salivating, in particular if you like this sort of meal. So once we've given that a quick coating, just going to put our forks aside. Now I also have some spaghetti courgettes, which again I got reduced to clear for 13p. Now these were in a bit of a better state, but I mean it's been sitting in my fridge for a couple of days. So we're going to add, yeah, we're going to use the whole lot because it needs using, and that will add some variety as well. Some courgettes, spirals, some greens, some courgette flavours, and you can use it as spaghetti apparently. I don't necessarily know if it would taste as nice and be the same sort of thing, But this is not replacing spaghetti or rice or potato in our meal. Like I said, you put this on the side if you're having potato, and I would add the rice to it personally and cook it. With 5-minute rice, you tip it straight into the thing. If not, cook your rice beforehand and add the rice to the sauce, the same way you add the spaghetti to the sauce. And in that sense, I've just spilled some passata by accident. I have egg noodles, fresh egg noodles, not pre-dried ones. Pre-dried ones are nowhere near as nice as the fresh egg noodles. 50p for the packet. They are usually £1, but fresh egg noodles are the favourite thing for breakfast. Now I'm going to chuck the whole bag in, and that will bulk out this meal into several meals. Now what else have we got to add? Oh yeah, we've got our Holy Trinity. Never forget the Holy Trinity. These are something more unusual because, I mean, you don't get things like this in everything, and they do retain their crunchy texture and the wateriness and the nuttiness. They're nice, so you want that in every time. Now I'd have added that personally before the noodles so that they defrosted into it better, but I forgot. I bother that. What else have we got? We have some bean sprouts. Now I'm going to use half a pound. Again, you're going to find them reduced, quite a lot. They can be frozen as well, so don't think that you have to use them that day. Just get them used before they go brown. So freeze them before they go brown, use them in your meal before they go brown. Now this looks an awful lot and it's like overflowing a bit, but it will reduce down. And again, on top of this, I'm going to carefully pour in our passata that I spilt a bit of. Now this will tomato out the meal and give it a more rounded taste and not be so spice laden. You could probably water, or like I said, use Tesco value curry sauce in a previous video, and they would round out this nicely. But I thought a more tomatoey thing, because of the strong sense of that particular paste mixture, it looked very strong, so I thought passata would round it out very nicely. Waiting for the microwave to ping me 3, 2, 1, quicker than I thought. So just reheated our meatballs. Now for some finishing touches I'm going to add some extra things, but first things first, containers. Now you'll want to section this into containers to be able to freeze, naturally, and store some away for later. So it should be easy enough to scoop. If you've left your thing in the pan, it may be a bit more flexible than you would like, so be careful not to leave it in there too long. Now usually, if you fill it like that, depending on how hungry a person you are, you will get probably 2 portions out of that, or 1 very hungry person portion. Now, my personal finishing touches involve iceberg lettuce. It's a very cheap solution to make it look very professional. Although you don't look very professional trying to figure out how to get into the sellotape, but it is stuck very hard. And I don't know why I had that strange accent then, because that is not my accent. And opening it with your mouth is not that sensible because it gets stuck in your mouth too. Now, this isn't the nicest looking iceberg lettuce I've ever seen. I don't like the particular look of that one. The big outsides, we'll get rid of those. You want a nice leaf from the middle, that's a bit browner than I would like for the nice looks. And obviously this has been sat in my fridge for a couple of days, so it's not been the most ideal of circumstances. So you get a nice leaf. We'll give it a quick rinse, because obviously it's gone a bit brownish. So one nice rinsed green leaf. Into that we will add our portion of stir fry, which sits very nicely indeed. I have some giraffe bread, because I guess for legal reasons it can't be named tiger bread. which we will sit across it. And just for that little finishing thing, we're going to add a scoop of salsa. Now, you can have mango chutney, you can have whatever you want. I've got some salsa in the fridge, so I'm going to use that. Again, that's not even essential really to add to the meal. I just thought it would make a nice little touch. Something a bit cooling if your thing gets too hot. Perhaps you could have some creme fraiche, you could have something else. You could even grate some cheese on top. And there we have our meal, which looks a lot more professional than the last thing I did in a rush, obviously. Now, storing it in the leaf keeps it nice and separate, makes it look very nice. You could sprinkle some extra greens on the top if you want, chop up some of that not so nice for the decoration sort of stuff. Like I said, grate some cheese on top, which I'm actually going to do. And if it's not green enough, although the big green leaf makes it extra green easily, you could sprinkle on some extra last minute salad. A couple of bits of that, but it doesn't look as nice with that in, so maybe mix it into your thing at the very last minute, it'll wilt down, and yeah, some extra green leaves at the end. I will grate my cheese very quickly and take the green leaves off because these things looking as great. Now clearly I've had a tussle with the salsa, the passata. I don't know how it happens, obviously I didn't mention that in the last quick segment. I will grate our cheese on top. And there we have one very nice stir-fried curry with a bit of salsa, perfectly contained in a nice dish with your head off the camera, because it's all about the meal and it's very tasty. Perfect consistency of noodles. The egg noodles stay nice. They've got that bite to it that you don't get with the dried ones, so don't buy the dried ones. Lots of peppers, very essential. And if I can find one, water chestnuts, very nice bite. And you keep your meat nice and separate. So trouncing isn't ideal for eating. And that mustiness from the mustard, I guess that's why it's called mustards, adds to it very nicely. And I would definitely recommend giving it a try. Bread, dip in your curry, perfect, tasty. We have 3 on top of all the ones that we made of perfect takeaway meals, ideal to microwave for 2 minutes and then break apart on the plate or stir up in the thing and then microwave for about 3 more to make sure it's heated in the middle. You have to do it and stir it halfway through because otherwise it'll be frozen in the middle and probably burnt on the outside. So yeah, thanks for watching, goodbye.